So over the past couple years, I've been really working on building up my work from home setup. And I will say the one thing that I've definitely gone overboard on has been the headphone collection. What was once like, okay, I want a pair of headphones for when I'm mixing music and I want a pair of headphones when I'm gaming or streaming, has now expanded to way too many headphones, and I've actually had to sell some of them off. But instead of doing the traditional YouTube wisdom of doing a review for each individual headphone and collecting that sweet, referral affiliate links in the description revenue, I decided to kind of compare all of them at once and talk about, can I tell a difference between these headphones? Was it worth it? So let's go on this crazy headphone journey and see which one stands out on top. All right, so what's the criteria I'm using to judge these different headphones? Well, we use a pretty standard mid-fi setup, which is the topping D90 DAC and the A90 amp. And same playlist, which is a lot of hip hop, indie rock, some soundtrack, electronic music. Now, I will say, in terms of my preferences with music, I really like hip hop. I really like a lot of indie rock, some electronic stuff, some instrumental stuff. I have more of a preference for like guitars and drums and bass. I also use these headphones for mixing videos and editing these videos. When I'm editing, I need to be able to hear the audio and try to fix my shoddy recording techniques. And finally, the last thing is going to be the look to some sense, but more importantly, the comfort and the fit. Really important that they're comfortable because I have to wear these for a long time. Sometimes I'm editing 6 to 8 hours a day. Let's get into the breakdown between the different headphones and what the different headphones we're going to be talking about are. All right, so let's talk about the first pair of headphones I bought during this period, which is the DT770 Pros. So why did I buy these? Well, first, I already had the 1990 Pros at the time, so I wanted a closed back version. Also, I thought I was going to be using these in the office, so I was still going to and from the office at the time. And I also wanted something that I could use to monitor audio while I was filming videos like this, because I didn't want the sound to spill over to the mics, even though there's so much environment noise that pops up in these videos from time to time. There's rain in Singapore, and then there's flying cats and kids and birds and everything. Now, for the price, they're about $140, which isn't bad, but when you're first buying headphones, like anything over $100 seems crazy when you're used to like $30 earbuds and stuff like that. And the build is okay. Like the cups are like this hard plastic. There's a somewhat nice headband. The fit is okay. It doesn't clamp too much on my head. It's kind of nice and soft. But I will say, and it could have just been the pair that I bought, but I noticed it right away. And I think it's a thing of you get what you pay for, which is on the interior of the cups, although there's enough space for my ears, and I think I have maybe slightly larger than normal ears, but there's like this seam where the round cup part is connecting to the inside cup part, and it has like this rough edge of the sewing or something, and it just gets really scratchy and uncomfortable on the side of my ears. Like I try not to move it too much because it just feels like it's scratching it. It's really distracting. So could just be faulty pair or something cheap, but everything else otherwise is very comfortable on the headphones. Now, when it comes to the sound, now of course, because they're closed back, you don't have the biggest sound stage with these, but it was kind of like shifted to the left. Now again, could have been faulty. The sound stage is just like a little bit off to the left. I bought these brand new. I'm not quite sure what that was about. The other thing too is I was surprised at how much bass these things had. Like it was quite surprising for me. And it has a lot of bass. The only problem is that the bass gets distorted. Like you can really hear the distortion at times. And because there's so much bass, everything kind of sounds a bit muddied. Now this might be a bit of the closed back effect as well, but it was just a bit like muffled and garbly, and sometimes vocals weren't as clear. It sounded cool, but then as time went on, I was like, this isn't that enjoyable. And maybe it was just my ears getting sliced up by the threading inside. Now next was my first like proper purchase as part of like this audiophile world. Like these were the first headphones that I was watching reviews on, and I saw these and I thought like these are the ones to get, which is the Focal Elegia. Now again, these are closed back, and I bought these because I still thought I was going to be going to and from the office, and I was definitely going to the studio. So like I wanted something I don't want everyone hearing what I'm listening to. These are really nice looking headphones. Like the design's great. Even the bag, the case that the headphone comes with, which is pretty rare, even as you go higher up in price, to have a shockingly good case. I think the only other case that probably matches this is the case that came with the DT1990. It's a really good case. The headphone cable is terrible. Now, thankfully, it's detachable. I actually bought some balance cables to use with this. I was surprised at how comfortable it is. The ear cups are super comfy. I don't get, they have really good padding inside. And the top headband is very comfortable. And despite being a bigger, larger, theoretically heavier headphone, like the clamp force was really nice, even with my glasses. And the padding on the top, like despite being a bigger headphone, it didn't feel like it. It felt like a nice, comfortable fit on top of my head. So I was really impressed with the comfort of this headphone. Now, the sound quality is actually pretty good. Like the detail is way better than the Beyerdynamics. The soundstage is still small. The bass is a bit lighter than I'd like. Now, of course, you can EQ that and bring it up, but otherwise the sound is really clear. It's really nice. Although I did notice that sometimes vocals could be shrill at times. Nothing too distracting unless you're really listening for it, and not that important to me because, like I said, I usually am not listening to the vocals too many times, but at certain notes and voices, it's like I could kind of hear that popping in, but I still try to use these as much as I can when I'm going to the studio or when I'm working outside of home. All right, so I would say about like 8 to 9 months into the pandemic, I was like, okay, it doesn't look like we're going outside anytime soon. So I got really into content creation and streaming, especially streaming. I was playing a lot of games, a lot of Apex Legends and FPS games. So I wanted headphones that would be really good for streaming and gaming and editing my videos. And the one that checked all those boxes was the Sennheiser HD800S. It's kind of weird when you buy these because I'm kind of glad I got them on sale, because I think if I would have paid full price, I would have been a bit angry about this. But so first, you don't really get a proper carrying case like the Focal has, and even like the quarter of the price, DT1990s. The other thing too is it comes with like this absurdly long cable. I don't know why the cable is this long, but it just makes it a chore. Like I have to like bind it up to use it on my desk. When you first pick up this headphone, you think like, did I just get ripped off? Because it's pretty much all plastic. And the ear cup itself is like this like aluminum, really thin material. Like you feel like if you poke it too hard, it's gonna break, but it's really high quality plastic, and it plays into design, which is like, this is the lightest feeling headphone on your head. So first, the ear cups are super huge and spacious, which means like my ears don't touch. They're super comfortable. But like I put this on and I can easily forget that it's on my head. There is one weird caveat to all this. Despite this amazing comfort, these are the most comfortable headphones I've ever used. There's like this weird thing with the hinge where if your hair is too long and you don't take it off the right way, it's gonna rip out a chunk of your hair. I don't know, maybe that's a defect. Maybe that's why I got the B stock. Maybe it was on sale, but kind of sucks. Like you take it off and it feels like a piece of your hair is gonna rip. Also, because the headphone padding is so thin, I feel like these are gonna have to get replaced at a point in time, and I really don't want to ever drop these because I'm afraid they'll shatter into pieces if I do. But yeah, really comfortable headphones, just that weird thing where you might get a piece of your hair ripped out. All right, so let's talk about the sound. So the first thing is that unlike the other headphones, like these need a proper amp and sources. You can't just connect them to your phone or connect them to some random dongle. You need dedicated equipment to get the best out of these. But once you have all that set up, the sound is great. Like these were the first headphones where I was like, okay, I see the jump, like of course there's that famous sound staging and imaging, which basically, you have this nice space, and now people make it sound like it's some huge, like you're in a room, but no, it's like a nice, like most of the time you feel like it's in your head. This time you feel like it's a little bit around you, but you get this nice space and you can tell where everything's coming. You can hear where the orchestra's coming from. Every detail sounds really clear. Now, I will say that, of course, there isn't that much bass, but It's not that there's no bass at all. Like, you can hear it, you just don't feel it as much. And of course, you can EQ that as well. It's more like I could hear everything with like precision detail. It just was precision. It wasn't like, it was exacting, but not like, oh, I'm really feeling it, you know, which meant that these are really good. And I use them still all the time to this day for doing a lot of my audio editing and mixing. Like, if I can make it sound good on these, it probably sounds good elsewhere. But yeah, these are really great for mixing. They're really comfortable. They're really great for playing games. Just for music, they're not unpleasant. And when you're listening to certain songs, it's like, whoa, this is crazy. But I guess you just don't get into the groove as much sometimes with them. All right, so after I got the Sennheisers, I kind of thought that was it. Like, I had reached my summit of headphone tiers, but saw this video on the Abyss Diana V2s, and I was like, all right, it's treat yourself time to relax, time to enjoy your music. When I got them and I saw them, I was like, wow, these are really nice looking headphones. Like, you can really see the craftsmanship and the design. Like I said, most headphones, when you go higher up in the price tiers, they sound better, but they don't look great. Like the Sennheisers, I don't think look that great. But usually there's like this big headband and it's poking out and it looks like you have speakers strapped to the ears. Nope. These look really sleek, really nice, really low profile. The bag you get them in is, the bag is okay, but like I was hoping a bit more protection inside for the headphones. It's kind of just this cheap foam, you know, whatever. But the headphones themselves, when you put them on, so first of all, the headband is, well, it sucks. Like, you put it on and it's like you have this piece of metal just like mashing into your head, right? Because the fit is pretty close. It's not quite Skull Crushers, but it has a lot of pressure and it just kind of like smushes into your head. It basically becomes unwearable after like a half hour or so. So I actually, like I saw a lot of other people have, I bought this aftermarket pad that you put around the headband, and it helps by leaps and bounds. I got two different ones and I found this one that you can take on and off, like it doesn't have to stick anything onto the headband. So it's really great. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's $10. Now the ear pads themselves, like they're these cool design where they're magnetic and you can pull them off easily. I'm assuming to change the sizes, or not the sizes, but change the position, or if you need to replace them, it's pretty easy. You know, they're really nice pads. But I don't know if it's, you know, a combination of Singapore humidity and stuff, but it just kind of like, you just kind of feel it on your skin after a while and it becomes uncomfortable. It doesn't necessarily heat up so much unless, you know, it's a hot environment, then it gets really nasty. Like, these are keep the AC on headphones, but it just, every once in a while, especially with the clamp force, like you just gotta take them off. Like I don't have this problem with the Elegia or the Sennheisers, but every once in a while you gotta take a break, put them back on. But I will say the headphone cable that comes with is probably the nicest headphone cable that I've ever seen come with headphones. Perfect length and nice quality, really flexible. And I really enjoy that they've kind of sculpted the ends to plug in and be flush with the headphones. But when you hit a certain price point, you have really high expectations that should follow it. Basically, holy smoke, you know, with the sound, like it just does these little nuanced things right that really just enrich your listening experience and makes you turn it up and you hear details in the songs that you didn't really hear before. Like, I understand the kind of gimmick tagline, you know, world's highest resolution headphones. You know, I pick up on things I don't. The soundstage isn't this big, huge soundstage like it was with the HD800. It's more of like I said, you kind of hear it in your head. But all the details picks up really well. But I think the most important thing is the bass. Like most headphones, you hear the rumble and you hear the stuff like that. But these are the first ones where like you feel it. Like you feel that impact on your chest. And that with the clarity and everything kind of just like blending together. But if you need to pick it out and hear it, you can. It's a enjoyable listening experience. Now, I will say with mixing, these definitely aren't. I would prefer the HD800S because I feel those are a bit more honest and showing the imperfections than these are. So, you know, sometimes something they're kind of good at making everything sound pretty good, which I think is the way they design these headphones. Like, they have more that are more like honest or analytical, but these are like the ones that like, let's smooth around the edges, make everything sound good. So, but I would definitely use the HD800S more for like key audio mixing. These have been awesome to listen to, and apparently the more you put into your other electronics in the chain, the better they get. But yeah, unfortunately, the big drawback, of course, is just those weird little comfort things that I've solved now on my own, but I feel like you shouldn't have had to solve that. All right, so if I had to break these down into different categories, if I had to think of music quality and music enjoyment, of course, the Diana's at top, Sennheiser's, Focal, then Beyer. If I had to think of fit and comfort, now, I would say, shockingly, maybe the Focals are on top here. They just have that nice fit. Followed closely by the Sennheisers, only because I don't like them ripping my hair out when I take them off. Then next are the Dianas, and then the Beyers at the end. Now, if I had to think about overall like value for the money you're putting in and kind of balancing all this out, I would put at the top probably the Focals. Like the Focals have really good comfort, pretty good sound quality. Like it's not bad at all. Like it's really good for headphones. It's just that, the peaks are so high. Then followed closely, especially if you can get them on sale, is the Sennheisers. Like these are really just like the headphones that are going to make you go like, wow, this is what crazy good audio can sound like. After that is the Beyers, and last is Diana, because paying that much is really hard to justify, especially if you don't have the other stuff in place. So if I was to go back in time and take all this knowledge and give it to a younger, richer Lewis, I would probably tell myself to go with the Focal Elegias, but more specifically, maybe an open back Focal, like a clear MG, or if I just wanted to go crazy, get like a Utopia. I think that would have been like the perfect, like, wow, this hits all the spots that I need. Now, in terms of my setup, I think the Sennheisers are always going to stay in my collection now. Like they have so many utilities, and just they have such a unique feel to them that they're always going to be there. Have I hit my summit yet with the V2 Dianas? I don't know yet. Maybe we'll see. We'll kind of see how it goes. I don't know, the TC version looks pretty interesting, but the thing is with all this is it just gets more and more expensive, because it's not just the headphones, then it's the amps and the DAC and the cables and all this craziness. Thankfully, I've only bitten the bullet on the 3 core components. I haven't bought in the $900 USB cables yet, but we'll see how it goes. But let me know if you have any questions about any of these headphones in the comments, or if you want me to do videos on any of these headphones specifically. Thanks again for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if this was helpful, and catch you on the next one.